Okay, it is Wednesday. We are behind the table with Sunny Hostin.
Yes.
Coming off the heels of our big show with really the biggest name there is, Oprah Winfrey was here.
I know.
How about that?
We've talked about it before, Brian, when someone comes on to the show and they walk out and there's this energy in the room.
Yes.
She has that.
Absolutely.
She has this thing that it's almost like The Last Dragon when you got the glow and the glow goes around the guy. And,
Yeah.
you know, for me, she had that. I always call her the Oracle because I know for a lot of people, Barbara Walters is like the person that they grew up watching. And while I grew up watching Barbara and she was someone that I was like, wow, this is someone that's so great at her craft. You know, Oprah, I looked like Oprah. And so for me, Oprah was like kind of my Barbara.
I get it.
And I couldn't believe I was sitting with her. I've met her before, but she said something to me off camera. I don't think I've told you.
No.
She said, I guess she had been watching our show, the first segment, and she said, you need to know. I said, you are my idol. I don't think that I would have thought that I could do what I do without having seen you for 25 years. And she said, I watch you. You are so brave.
Oh, that's
And,
wonderful.
yeah, she said, you are so brave. You are in the right place. You're doing the right thing. And Maya Angelou told me, you are not becoming a woman. You are now a real woman. And she said, and that's what I see.
Wow.
So I will write that down
Yeah.
and I will keep that with me forever because it is kind of hard sometimes, this show. I don't know if people realize that, you know, I try to speak my truth and I feel like I'm on the right side of whatever position. And sometimes all the co-hosts disagree with me. And it's a little hard when people reach out to you and they're like, oh, I disagree with you. You're horrible. And it's hard to sort of stand in that space and stand in the truth.
but
So if the Oracle told
I was
me
going
that
to say,
I'm
there's
doing the right
someone's
thing.
going to reaffirm you. I mean, there's no one who knows what it's like to be
Felt great.
in front of the world like Oprah Winfrey. I mean, she's
Yeah.
been doing it for her whole career.
Her whole career.
I mean, she definitely...
Yeah.
There's like a shimmer in the studio. You're
Right?
100% right. And that doesn't happen
does.
very often, and it happens. I'll
No.
tell you, for me, I've said this before too, it's always most impactful for me, no matter who the star of the moment is, you know,
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney or somebody else.
Yeah.
That's always cool.
Yeah.
But the people that meant something growing up to pop
my
culture,
God.
to your world and everything else.
She's an icon.
And seeing Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey together.
Together. That was awesome.
That's something to me. I mean,
and seeing the picture, I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
know it was the 40th anniversary of The Color Purple, but like just seeing the photo of them, Whoopi said she was in her 30s. She looks like she was in her 20s.
Yeah.
I mean, they look so young, and to know that they became like titans of industry, right? And these icons.
Right.
And that was the beginning. That's
No,
pretty
I mean, they were
amazing.
making the culture when I was growing up. When you
Yeah,
look at,
they
you know,
were.
Whoopi was hosting the Oscars 4 times and
I
in the biggest
know.
movies in the world, and Oprah was the biggest show on television.
Yeah.
And to be...
And the story she told, she said that when she was on set for Color Purple, she was telling Whoopi, I got to go because I got to sign this contract for like a show
Isn't
that I'm
that
going to do. And it became the Oprah Winfrey Show. And we knew, I mean, it didn't exist when they shot the Color Purple.
And we've been doing this long enough time that we have those moments occasionally. And you look
Yeah.
back. I remember I was working, we talked about daytime TV all week.
Yes.
I was working on the Ricky Lake show, and I had Ryan Seacrest on.
Oh my gosh.
And he was getting a fax to sign to do American Idol for the first time.
American Idol. Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Isn't that crazy?
Can you imagine?
So like these are like, you know, it's
they're real moments.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool being in these rooms. Well, this is her first time back on The View in over 10 years, but she was not. I've
been here 10 years
Yeah.
and she's never been on.
Same. I worked with her once at Letterman, and that was
Yeah.
it. And today she was here for her book, Enough, Your Health, Your Weight, and What It's Like to Be Free.
It's a great book.
With Dr. Anya Yasterboff.
Yes.
Who was lovely and very interesting. What were your takeaways about this book and what they were talking about?
I think the best takeaway for me was the notion that obesity is a health disease. It's a health condition. And for too long, there's been shame attached with being overweight. People have been fat shamed. And many people feel that it's their fault that they're overweight when in fact it's their biology.
Sure.
And I feel that way, not to compare the two, but I think there's been a real movement in terms of mental health as well. You know, it was sort of like a shameful thing to be in therapy. It was a shameful thing if you suffered from anxiety or depression or were bipolar, when in fact, and people wouldn't take medication for it, when in fact, if you have high blood pressure, you have cholesterol, you would just take a pill. And now if you have obesity, which is a medical condition, there's a shot for it, and you can take it and you can lose the weight. And so I think in many ways, one of the biggest names in television, Oprah Winfrey, saying, I have this disease, you probably have it too. And there is no shame in that, and there is a medication for it. I think that the book does a really good job of destigmatizing obesity, and teaching you the causes of it, and teaching you about these GLP-1s. And I was speaking off camera to the doctor, and she said that the GLP-3s are coming.
Yeah,
they are coming.
That's the next level of it all.
Next level of it all.
So I read somewhere that they say you'll lose like 85% of your weight, which is incredible.
Which is incredible for people that
when you're
overweight.
Overweight.
Think about people that are morbidly obese. And the other thing is they Oprah writes in the book about the fact, this sort of enough weight type of paradigm, where this takes you, the GLPs take you to the place where your weight is enough to sustain your body.
Right.
And so it sort of changes just almost the way you're thinking, and that notion of the food noise. I mean, when she describes it on our show today, that constant food noise. Okay, I just ate this. Maybe can I eat that?
Yeah.
What am I going to eat for this? I'm not someone that has ever been obese, and so I don't know about that food noise thing. But the way she described it, it sounds exhausting.
Oh, I certainly know about it, and it's something that I dealt with when I was on Weight Watchers and things like that. And the idea that you're sitting and trying to, like, okay, I'm having this now, and then at 7 o'clock tonight I can have something, if I can just make it that long.
Oh my gosh.
And to have those things quieted, I think is a huge help.
It's huge.
The impactful thing she said to me was, or said on the show today, was, if you're relying on willpower, it's never going to happen.
No.
And this is someone who's, I mean, you can't give more pressure to lose weight than Oprah Winfrey.
Exactly.
Felt in her life. And when they showed that the video of her bringing out the
yes, I remember.
the wagon,
Everybody
remember
remembers it.
And you look at how great she looked then.
Yes.
And it's unsustainable.
She only had liquid for 4 months.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a way to live. You
Yeah.
know? I'm not a big eater, as you know.
Right.
I mean, I kind of just eat to live. I don't.
But
live
you've been
to
very
eat.
straightforward about still the challenges you've had and what you've done.
When I had
and
my 2 babies and I'm in my 50s, I was at least 30 to 40 pounds heavier than I had ever been. So people look at me now, and I took the Manjaro, which I think is now Zepbound.
It's Zepbound when it's specifically for weight loss.
Weight loss. And I lost the weight and I never gained it again. And people that know me from, when I was in college and law school, they're like, oh, you look like yourself again. People that knew me later in life were like, oh my gosh, you're so skinny. But I've always been this particular weight, which is enough for me to do what I need to do. I have enough energy. I have everything. But it was just so helpful. I mean, everybody says that women in particular that are perimenopausal or menopausal, every decade you gain like 10 pounds. And I just didn't want to do that. What I did find, and I think a lot of women will agree, like I couldn't run as far. My knees hurt more. I love to wear a pair of heels. When you're heavier, it's kind of hard to wear heels. And so it kept me from doing some of the things that I loved to do my whole life. And now that I'm back to the weight that I've always been, I feel great.
You talked about it on the show. Did you ever feel any, because there, especially when they first rolled out, there's a stigma to these things. I don't think it's gone.
I didn't.
Did you? You didn't feel anything? Yeah.
No, I didn't. I
had no shame over it.
No shame.
Nor should you have.
No, I guess, but I've also been very honest about getting a breast lift and a breast reduction and liposuction. Like I think that it's very personal.
Yeah.
And I think you have to give your permission to do what you want to do for yourself to make you feel good. I'm never ashamed of anything like that.
Another thing that Oprah said, we talked about whether she felt pressured or felt like she wasn't going to amount to things. And much like you, she doesn't seem to have ever had imposter syndrome.
No, I don't have that.
And that's something we've talked about on the show before. You've said,
no, I don't suffer from that. And it's
I don't think Whoopi does either.
No, she doesn't. She told me she always knew she was going to be an actor.
Yeah.
And Joy says that she grew up, with a family that loved her and made her confident. And I grew up with a family that, showed me so much love and gave me so much grace. and built me up, because I think they knew that this world would try to tear down someone like me, someone that just happened to be born smart, someone that was born biracial at a time when I was born in 1968. The Loving decision came down in 1967.
Right.
My parents couldn't have even gotten married.
So crazy.
In 1967. So for me, I feel that I am God's child, like Oprah said, and I belong in the spaces. I've earned it.
Yeah.
And I won't let anyone take that away from me.
There's such power in self-belief. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I do think that's real.
But you also, I think part of it comes with doing your very best.
Right.
I don't compete against anyone else, but you know me well enough now to know that I compete against myself. I'm very hard on myself. I'm very type A. Preparation takes away anxiety for me.
Yeah.
So I over prepare and I study a lot, but
I'm going to come back to that because I want to have
what
one
it
more
is.
thing on the Oprah of it all.
Yeah.
It was important to you to talk about the cost of these drugs.
Yes.
And that was something that you got in there, and I'm so glad that you did.
Yeah. Because we weren't planning on
No.
discussing that. But what I found was that, my mom's a retired teacher, and she has a good pension, but and she's older, so she has Medicare, and the cost of the weight loss drugs for her was like $1,000, and it wasn't covered, and I just couldn't believe that. I of course bought it for her because I can, and I just kept on thinking about the people that don't have someone that can buy it for them, or people that just can't afford it.
Right.
And I just think that's disgusting because it's like a health condition.
There's a cascade effect from being overweight that affects every kind of health problem.
I mean, heart disease.
Yeah.
I was actually discussing this with Manny the other day. He's an orthopedic surgeon. He sees people with knee problems and joint problems. And a lot of times, like 20 years ago, the advice that he would give was to lose weight.
Yeah.
Now imagine that. Now there is something that he's seeing in his patients, that they're on these GLP-1s, and some of them, while the damage has been done and they still need the knee surgery or the hip surgery, their recovery is that much easier and faster and better.
I think we'll see people living longer. I do.
Of course.
And for a long time, that's been stagnant, life expectancy in America. So
yes, that's going to change it. And the drug companies have to figure out a way. Maybe they're going to make a little bit less money. Maybe the government can help here.
Yeah.
Let's, maybe Mark Cuban with his pharmacy
and I will say,
can do something.
It's rare we say positive things about President Trump. He has talked about trying to make the medicines cheaper,
Yes,
and let's see if he can do it.
These medicines need to be less expensive, and they're just not accessible. And Brian, I think that's where some of the shame came in from people that could afford it early on, right? They didn't want to say they were on it because there were people that couldn't access
and things like that too. Yeah, so
exactly.
But I'm glad that Oprah talked about it. Whoopi's talked about it. You talked about it. I think it's an important thing to do.
It is.
All right, so I want to talk about this, going back to your self-evaluation of yourself.
Yeah.
So we were talking about AI before, you and I, off camera. And Sarah Haynes mentioned this to me, and she said to me that she asked AI to roast her with all the information it's gathered from the questions she's asked about them, and to do it. And then
to roast her based on the questions she's asked AI?
Take everything that AI knows about you, because you were saying you get nervous about giving too much information, things like that. But
I don't like to give ChatGPT too much
but
information.
It's all there. And then it reads into the things you're asking and things like that. So she had it roast her. She thought it was very funny. And then I thought about it for a while. I didn't want to do it because I'm like a little thin-skinned. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I did it the other day. And it was dead on. It was kind of shocking.
Was it?
So, and I did it once, and then they said, "You want like a light roast or a dark roast, or do you want to be cremated?" And I said, "I'll go light roast." And I laughed. I'm like, "Okay, I can do that."
What do you type in?
You just say, "Please roast me."
Okay.
All right, it's thinking. Now I'm curious to see. Is it insightful?
You are out here living 5 parallel lives and expecting the rest of the world to keep up. You're a Harvard-adjacent career strategist, a real estate developer in a perpetual state of escrow, a New York Times best-selling novelist, a legal assassin with perfect stationery, and somehow still asking questions like, Can a king quilt fit on a queen bed? Ma'am, you could legislate the answer. You don't shop for a house. You cross-examine properties. By the time you're done, the oil tank has confessed, the solar panels are bankrupt, and the seller's attorney needs a therapist. You ask for a quick email draft, but what you really mean is, please prepare a document that could be filed in federal court, read aloud at a gala, and forwarded to 6 trustees. You are raising children who casually say things like, I'm exploring wellness, psychedelics, and global business opportunities. Meanwhile, the rest of us are proud if we remembered our charger. You don't have dogs. You have large sentient sea mammals with custom architectural features and better access control than most embassies. And let's be honest, you don't relax. You strategically decompress with a spreadsheet, a pitch deck, and a soft launch brand concept. But here's the thing. You are brilliant, relentless, warm, deeply thoughtful, and somehow still funny enough to ask to be roasted after doing all of this. So yes, you're a lot, but you're the good kind of a lot. The how is she doing this and still standing? Kind. Roast complete.
Pretty good, right?
Oh my God.
So pretty good, pretty insightful,
okay.
But also at the same time,
okay,
it knows you better than you think it does. I mean, you give it a lot.
Wow.
I'll do a short version of mine here.
Oh God.
Here's mine. All right. Brian, you don't have hobbies. You have ongoing initiatives. Nothing in your life is casual. A vacation isn't a trip. It's a multi-city operational rollout with wardrobe contingencies. Fantasy football isn't a game. It's a living document, complete with historical precedent, bid tracking, and post-mortem. You don't remember things. You archive them for future litigation. It's not wrong. Not wrong. Let's see. Some of these are too mean. You don't doom scroll, you scenario scroll. You don't relax, you optimize downtime. You don't let things go, you ask me to remember things indefinitely. And somehow, after all that control, planning, and precision, you still occasionally go, so I may have eaten something that explicitly said do not eat. That did happen. So there we go. Which honestly is the most human thing about you. So
my gosh.
Kind of fun.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, kind of fun. So
did Sarah think hers was dead
Sarah
on?
loved it. I didn't read hers, but she loved it and thought it was dead on the money and very funny.
Oh my god!
And she said Max did it, and they read it for her family, and they were all dying. So,
wow!
There we go. Yeah. How about that?
I tell it too much.
Well, you're a lot, but we love you for it.
I'm a lot.
All right. Before we go, I want to get some hot topics in here. Let's revisit these ICE raids and what's happening in the aftermath of the murder, killing of Renee Good by an ICE agent. Yeah. Every day there are new videos of ICE officers arresting and stopping people. President Trump says there's a day of reckoning coming, which is chilling to hear.
It's chilling.
You've been great at speaking out about the legality of these stops. I've learned a lot from listening to you. What's most important for people to understand about what's happening right now?
I think it's extremely important to know their rights, their constitutional rights, and how to interact with law enforcement. I remember back in the day when I was at the U.S. Attorney's Office, I was actually tasked with writing. We have a manual for new prosecutors, and I wrote the Fourth Amendment section. Yeah. So the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution outlines that a person is safe from government overreach in their person, on their person, in their homes, in their personal effects. And so I think that's really important for people to understand that when they are in their home, that the government can't, police officer, law enforcement can't bang on their door or ram their door open and enter without a search warrant. That's your sanctuary. That's your safety. The same applies to a car often. There are some exceptions, but your car, in order for a police officer to yank you out of your car or to open up your car or to search your car, that's a huge invasion of privacy because that is almost like your home. Think of it like an RV. And the only time that a police officer can sort of, invade your privacy is search your cars with a search warrant, or if he or she has a reasonable, articulable suspicion that you have committed a crime or about to commit a crime. And that's a pretty high standard. It's not just any suspicion. You can't just have a hunch that something's going on. It's an articulable, reasonable suspicion. So it's not even an articulable suspicion, meaning you can't just say, I think that person looks like they have a gun. It has to be reasonable. you think that person has a gun because you saw that person with a gun running into the car and driving off.
Right.
See, right? So in order for them to stop you in your car, they have to have this articulable, reasonable suspicion, and they certainly can't search it. And I've seen, these videos circulating where ICE is just like going up and or law enforcement like smashing your car and yanking you out of the car. They're really not supposed to do that. You can search the car if it's in plain view, if you got drugs or something and it's out there, but you can't dig into the trunk or the glove compartment without permission. And oftentimes I've seen videos where an officer says, "Mind if I check your trunk?" And someone says, "Sure."
Right.
But you don't have to say yes.
No, but you want to seem like you're being helpful. And you want to,
exactly.
And they know that too when they ask.
And that's the other thing about that I think people should know. The officer's job, the officer's supposed to be the professional, right?
Yeah.
In the law and in the enforcement of the law. So that officer is supposed to de-escalate the situation, but ultimately you want to leave that police encounter unscathed and alive.
Right.
And so I give the advice that I give my children: cooperate, call me,
Yeah.
and make it out alive.
Well, so I mean, I'll tell you, when we talked about, the AI was joking that I doom scroll, and I read all the comments and everything. And
you
so
do.
I
don't read them.
I have
you
to.
You read them so that I don't have to.
Exactly. But the tenor of our conversations this week, we've talked about this every day, and I think we'll continue to talk about it. And yesterday's conversation, which I thought was really instructive and interesting, some people were like, well, now are we all victim shaming? Are we all blaming this person for doing something?
We are not
at all. I didn't think so. I thought
I'm surprised people are saying that.
I think, or telling people not to protest, and I don't think we were doing that either.
No, you have a right to protest, but it's the way that you do it. I mean, I've read articles about people throwing things at ICE agents. Well, if you throw something at an agent, at a law enforcement officer, and that person gets hit, that's an assault.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got to be careful with how you do it. But yes, you have the absolute right to speak freely, to assemble peacefully. That's our right as Americans. I hope people didn't take that away. But I do think it's important for people to remain safe, because if there is chaos, if there is violence, then this administration has made it pretty clear that there could be a reckoning. And what we don't want is for our streets to become militarized,
right?
Because in a militia state, there aren't free and fair elections, and it's just that's no way to live in this country.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm curious about this because you're a parent and I'm a parent, and I've thought about this too.
Yeah.
If you were in that car, what do you do in that moment?
I think it's such a subjective thing, and because I have all the knowledge that I have, I would have gotten out of the car.
Yeah.
Even though on the back end of it, that would have been an illegal stop.
Right.
It would have been an illegal detainment. But I think the ending would have been different.
Yeah. And I'm sure she didn't think in a million years she was going to get shot.
And it would have also been different had the law enforcement officer did the right thing and de-escalated it and let her drive away without shooting, because it is unlawful and against DOJ policies and law enforcement policies to shoot at a car that is driving away and there's an unarmed person in it, even if the person is fleeing.
Right. And
that's an unjustified shooting.
Their defense of it is the idea that the car has become a weapon
that
and
is
that
not,
they were trying to
that
hit
is
him.
not what I saw. That is not what I saw. The other thing I think that no one's talking about is the fact that 6 prosecutors, career prosecutors, have left the Department of Justice, the U.S. Attorney's Office, including the chief of the Violent and Major Crimes Unit that has been investigating things since some of the corruption since 2022. He left the office because they wanted him to basically investigate Renee Good's wife.
Yeah.
And that is unfortunate for many reasons, but to see the drain of experience from the federal government and from especially the U.S. attorney's offices, which are the chief prosecutors, the federal chief prosecutors that represent the people of the United States in every single state, I just think, and the District of Columbia, that tells me that we are going down a path where we will not have institutional knowledge. Like someone like me who wrote the book on the Fourth Amendment for the U.S. Attorney's Office, I'm pretty sure that if I were a federal prosecutor right now in D.C., I would have to leave the office if I were being asked to do things that were unlawful, unjustified, and against my general moral compass. Yeah. And that's what we're seeing happen in Minnesota. We're seeing a lack of coordinated investigations between the state of Minnesota and the federal government, and that's something that I have never seen. And I think that we are either there's going to be a huge change, because usually I do believe that the
pendulum swings.
That the pendulum swings, and our moral arc bends towards justice. But between what's happening now and justice, I think we're in some really difficult, troubled times.
I think you're right. All right, you and Joy today went back and forth about whether you forgive or not, whether you're these people that are changing their positions now, the Joe Rogans, the Marjorie Taylor Greens.
No. You don't get, Joe Rogan does not get the benefit of, oh, you know what? I kind of see things differently now. He endorsed Trump. He had 20 million followers, and he, in large part, is responsible with a platform like that for some of the things that we are seeing. I am sorry. If we were warning people, Trump 2.0 is going to be much worse than Trump 1.0. And Project 2025 was out there for Joe Rogan to read. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he read it and ignored it or didn't read it, but when you have 20 million, a platform of 20 million people, that is a privilege and a responsibility. And he dropped the ball. And so Joy, is like, welcome to the fight. Mm-hmm. Why are we in the fight?
Yeah. I don't know that I disagree with you. The only thing I will say is it possible that he's learning as he goes?
No, because in the very same episode, he theorized that migrants were voting.
Yeah.
So he's the same guy who made a lot of money, who is actually unqualified to talk about politics at that depth. I mean, he was an MMC or UFC freaking announcer?
And a comedian.
And a comedian? Like, I'm sorry, does he have a PhD in government?
He was very funny on news radio, but
come on.
No, I hear you.
Come on.
I think it's a conversation we'll continue to have.
No.
I think more people will have changes of heart, and I think it'll be interesting to see if they're welcomed back by everyone, by some. Yeah.
No, not with what we're seeing. I can't forgive that.
All right, I have something good to talk about, and then we're going to say goodbye. Okay. We are proud to say that The View was nominated by the NAACP for Outstanding Talk Series at the 57th NAACP Image Awards.
I want to go.
You and I love an award. I know that. It's on a Saturday. I did check. So
I think I want to go. My friend Joy Reid is going, and Angela Rye is going for a podcast. I think Don Lemon is going.
All right, well, listen.
I think I may go hang out.
Here's the interesting thing. You can cast your vote today if you're listening to this at vote.naacpimageawards.net. Vote.naacpimageawards.net. Yeah. You can find the link in our episode description as well. If Sunny's going to go out there, send her home a winner, guys. Come on. What are we doing?
You know I'm a sore loser.
As am I. And you can vote every single day.
Every single day?
Every single day you can vote again and again and again.
That.
Yeah.
Brian, you got to vote every day.
Oh, I'm voting every day. Believe me, I'm on the edge of 12:01. I'm up there. Let's go. I like an award. All right. Thank you for joining me today, Sonny.
Thank you, Brian.
Tomorrow I'll be back with Anna Navarro, and we'll see you then.